Hello, the doc is in, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're talking about something a little bit off topic. No fingers, no hands, only RR6. Yes, railway number 6. And the dragon we all hate in section 2. Yes. I'll be discussing my experience and giving my personal tips and tricks for how to pass the railway and clear it with the bonuses on your first try or whatever try you decide to do. Am I a god gamer? No, not at all. I'm pretty decent, but I'd be soaking up the tips and tricks from actual great gamers who play Limbus company and taking those tips when I play my game and then trying to act accordingly. I'm gonna now bring them to you as a late gamer to an even more late gamer or better gamer. I don't really know you guys, so whatever. Anyway, before we get into that, actually though, I'm gonna do a little announcement thing. So if you don't care about that, go to the timestamp and then enjoy. But for those of you who are staying and curious about the doctor, hi. Crazy. I dropped a couple of videos over the last month. I locked in. I was like, you know what? Let's see what we can do. And you guys received the videos quite well. Biggest videos to date. Thank you guys so much for all the support. We passed the 500 subscribers mark. We're now heading over to 600 subscribers. Do I have a good milestone video for you guys? No. If you're watching this part and you have an idea for what I should do for my milestone video, let me know. I might just make it an 1,000 subscriber milestone video just because with the pace of things, we very well will reach 1,000 pretty soon. If I make a 500 subscriber video, I feel like soon after I'll be so close to 1,000 that I might as well have just made 1,000. So we're gonna say I'm gonna make a milestone video. I can work on something, a longer video, shorter video, just a topic I haven't covered yet, or a topic that you're curious on me covering. Most likely related to Project Moon, but essentially could be anything. I mean, if you're, whatever gets the most likes, whatever people seem the most interested in, I'll make that video. So do let a guy know in the comments if you're watching this part. If you're not, I have my own ideas anyway. I have a long list of videos that continues to grow as I deepen myself and bathe myself deeper into the Project Moon community. Even though I've been here for like a while anyway, so I'm already pretty much not a mainstay, but pretty well involved. Anyway, once again, thank you guys for watching on the first, it's the early part of the video, but thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. And now into the video. All right, so you come to the doctor for tips and tricks on how to beat Railway 6 and Limbus company. I don't know why you would do that. There are definitely better people for this, but whatever. I'm here to provide. Mostly commentary, but I'm here to provide. Going into this, well, first off, if you're doing this, you kind of need a couple of teams. You can't use the same team you use in Section 2 and Section 3. And then the team you use in Section 3 can't be used in Section 4, but you can use a team that uses Section 2. So essentially, you need at least 3 fully kitted teams. What does fully kitted mean? Basically, you just need a couple thread spin 3 egos, preferably at least one really good healing one. Fluid sac, can never go wrong with fluid sac. But Pursuance Merceau is also my recommendation. Why? Because it also is a high roller, which will come in handy for the tough clashes that you got to do here and there throughout the railway. As for what teams you have fully kitted and what IDs you should bring, that's above me, boss. I'm leaving that to you. That's it. Let's get into the railway now. So the first part, you fight Butterfly Pupa. All right, this fight basically doesn't matter. You just throw hands. I don't know if there's anything special that happens here. I would say use this opportunity to just get some ego resources, get your little sin affinities going, your wrath, your lust, whatever you think you need for your egos. Try to use those skills as much as possible. This kind of doesn't matter. You reset on each section, except for maybe the last. I think you get some SP on section 5, but if you don't, I may misremember. Regardless, though, basically the only thing you need to know for section 1 is just gather your resources. Section 2, we immediately fall into the deep end with Yin Long. All right, so beyond winning your clashes, which is the basic most important thing, don't lose your clashes. Read. The important thing to know for this section is essentially all you got to do is beat the ascending pin attack. Make sure you beat that. That's going to lower the shield on the head, which is the most important part here, because once that's done, that's more or less how you get to wave 2 from my understanding. Once you're in wave 2, holy cow. All right, wave 1, you get along fine enough. Again, you just gotta win your clashes at the end of the day. That's the most important part. Don't lose your clashes. Pay attention to what's happening. Wave 2, holy cow. The problem person here is, of course, Lord of Hongyun Honglu. Why? Because of Tears and Tarn Split. Obviously, he's a high roller. He does a lot of damage. He activates the other high show pack members. You know, it makes sense. That said, when he dies, he's going to nuke our team. All right, he's gonna hit you with the big attack. After his death, it's gonna be a problem. Where the problem comes in is that on, I believe, every other turn, the little egg thing, the Crimson Jade thing, is going to do a big attack on literally everyone on the screen. It's going to apply a bunch of rupture counts and just a lot of rupture in general. It's going to hit, it's going to do a lot of damage. What you need to do is that you cannot kill Honglu on the same turn you have the Jade coming out. Why? Because it can lead to so much damage you will lose. I experienced so much damage you will lose. And on a run that I thought was going pretty good, I literally had my whole team eviscerated.
자신만만하게 달려가더니 근자감이었던 거야?
이것으로 끝이 아닐 테지.
양조 불사전. 진짜 죽는
So, what do you need to do in this situation? Beyond winning your clashes, you know, clash the egos, try not to get hit, kill people before they hit you, etc., etc., etc. What you want to do is that you want to time your killing of Honglu so that then it happens after or before, if you can somehow pull that off, the stopping the Crimson Jade. How do you stop the Crimson Jade? It has many stagger thresholds. All you have to do is just do damage to it, so that then on the turn it's going to do its big attack. You stagger it. You don't have to worry about it. It also gives a little buff to the people who attack it that make it so that they don't take a little bit of damage on the first hit that hits them. That's not as important. You could probably galvanize that to make it so then all your sinners are be good for one turn or so. But most importantly, you'd rather just stop the thing from attacking. That will make you more or less fine beyond just, you know, killing the enemy sinners, the Bekatula and whatnot. As for Honglu, just make sure you stop him from doing his death move until a safe turn. You can determine when that safe turn is. Don't let them live too long. Quicker you kill all the sinners, the better. They do a lot of damage. You don't want them to use their ego. It's all bad. Just try to get through it. You try to get through it, okay? But that's my tips for that. Wave 3, we are back to Yin Long. All right. For this section, I'm not gonna lie. Again, I'm just a layman. All right. There are better people to explain every individual detail. I'm not here to do that for you. I'm here to commentate. So I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't understand what was going on. I was just like, hey, my team just beat down wave 2. Let's get her done. So I was winning clashes. Once again, make sure you read. Just keep an eye on things. Damage can start piling in. You got those unbreakables. But so long as you have a healing ego that you can spam, again, Fluid Sac, Pursuance Merceau, a Lantern, Sinclair, there are options, okay? Make sure you're using your healing ego when you can, and just try to drop as much damage as possible, and you will eventually get through this. You do need to engage with the inverted scale passive, essentially. And what it does is that basically for the, I believe, yes, the inverted scale section of Yin Long, you just have to make sure you attack it directly. And once that's destroyed, that's when it'll die. So do that and you will win. Then on wave 4, you will see the pupa again. Do a lot of damage to it, and it'll give you an option of a little event where you basically pick a passive to cut off from Butterfly, so that then it doesn't show up in section 5 when you actually fight Butterfly directly. To that, I basically say pick what you want. I cannot recommend what's best, as I didn't really know what was going on until we were there. So forgive me, but that is my recommendation for section 2. Now, section 3. I wouldn't say this is the hardest section, but this is one where I would say if you pass section 2 and you thought, okay, maybe they put the hardest section at the beginning and now it all gets easier. It does not. This one is one where you really need to read and pay attention to the passives and the things being explained to you, as if you do not, you will lose. Now, I did read because this ain't my first rodeo with Project Moon. I know you gotta read or you will lose. So essentially the whole mechanic for wave 1 is will you play is going to apply it effect on various members of the middle in this fight. And what you have to do is that in 3 turns you have to kill whoever is it. Or else you just take lots of damage and then your SP goes down. Really, all it really means is you're going to lose, is basically what it means. Kill the person who's it, okay? That's all you need to know. Not only this, but also while that's happening, you also need to clash with will you play. At the same time, you need to win the small clashes. You need to win the small clashes that I believe Play With Me and Haya, right? Then on the subsequent turn, after you get the power down effect, you need to lose against I'll Go For Scissors. Now, losing against I'll Go For Scissors is really straightforward. Just try to clash it, but don't try to win, essentially. So just play any skill. It rolls really high, so really, literally, just don't try to beat it. Attack it with the power down IDs, and you'll be fine. But the problem is that you have to clash will you play, he'll use it, and try to do it all in decent time to kill everybody within 3 turns of each of them going up. And you don't want to take too long, because gradually the middle IDs get stronger, and as you kill the various IDs, the various enemies, the Abno, will you play, will get stronger with its main attacks. So it'll be harder to beat its small orange moves that give the power down. How do you beat this? It's really straightforward. Just blow everybody up. You want to kill Methodus Matthias Otis. You want to kill Matthias Otis and Ricardo as quickly as possible, as they are the strongest ones and the most likely to actually fry you. That said, you're trying to attack them, they're going to retaliate every time. So if you can bring in a team that's not blunt weak, would be great. But if you must bring a team that's blunt weak, which a lot of IDs are blunt weak, that's fine. Just try to do as much damage as you can as quickly as possible. Either go for a stagger or just go to kill them when you hit them. It may even be worth it to try to kill enemies before they become it, because of the fact that essentially you take them out of rotation. It doesn't mess up the flow of things, and it makes it better so that then down the line you don't have as many hard enemies to kill. So you can kind of discern how you want to operate this, but in my personal experience, you kill 2 of the weaker metal IDs, the little brother and sisters, early. Then you try to kill Matthias or Ricardo as soon as possible. However you want to do that, whatever the opportunity presents itself, where you have the right skills, right sin affinities, whatever it is, blow either or of them up as quickly as you can, while also paying attention to will you play. Engaging with will you play is not too bad. Even with the unbreakable coins, she does offer heals and stuff, so it's not too bad. But using your healing eagles will be a little difficult, because all the mill IDs are always using counters, so any spray hits, just a large attack weights, will mean that whoever used a large attack weight hit probably is getting, beat the fight down. So just look out for that. But this section isn't too hard. Just don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. Towards the end, will use a big attack, a big attack weight attack that does a lot of damage. Just block it. I didn't the first cycle. I was like, I'm gonna crash this. I lost and my whole team died. Very unnecessary. Just beat it. Then follow this by Distorted Hohenheim. I don't really understand this fight that well. I'm pretty sure with the events you're supposed to pick. I'm not sure what the best course of action as far as what events you should pick for Hohenheim, so that then he becomes weak really fast. But essentially just pick something that debuffs him, win your clashes, and you'll largely be fine. Make sure you use your healing eagles liberally, and you'll be fine. Then wave 3, same thing again. You will once again be presented with an opportunity to weaken the final boss in section 5. Beat it in one turn, shouldn't be too hard. And then done with section 3. Now we move on to section 4. Debatably, in my personal opinion, beyond section 5, which would be the hardest because final boss, low-key the hardest section, just because it's 3 bosses back to back, no gimmicks, just throw hands and try to win. Holy crap. Getting started with Yoru or Shiomi. Holy cow. There's not really much tips and tricks for this. It basically just boils down to if you're doing the railway and you completed Canto 9, which is probably something you want to have done if you're trying to do a railway. I guess it's kind of late for me to say that, but yeah, if you're trying to do this, you probably should finish Canto 9. Canto 9 / be up to date, just because it'll be easier. When you fought them in Canto 9, it's just that again. If you haven't fought them ever before, first off, what are you doing? But second off, okay, I can't really give you tips and tricks beyond just saying, just read what the stuff does and engage with the mechanics, and you'll be fine. There's no gimmicks here. It really just boils down to they get bonuses, they get buffs on themselves. Certain attacks do certain things. Some attacks are supposed to be clashed first, some attacks are supposed to be clashed last. Watch out for a bleed on your characters, watch out for debuffs on them, etc, etc, etc. Read what passives the bosses have and get through it. This one was rough. My longest section by far. It was tough. Doable, very doable, but it's rough. By the end of it, you'll be getting close. I would also say for this section, this is probably where it comes in handy to use the light powers. Yes, the clock powers Durante. Yes, time to use those. I would say use them liberally. This is the time to use them. These tough fights, this is the time to use them in general. If you want to do this, the railway, over a couple of days, do that. But in this section in particular, this is where I use them. I use Morositas. That's the only one I used. I used it on Rain at the end. Because once he goes into his second form, his clashes start to get pretty egregious, and that's where RR6 comes in. Lowers everything, very clashable, gives you some time to build up ego resources so you can start spamming egos again. Comes in handy. Don't really use any of them. You get a few a day, so use them. Probably not going to need to use them for another week or so have fun. And so that's it for section 4. Fairly straightforward though, not too bad. Just lock in. I mean, you should have been locked this whole time, but no, this part in particular, lock in. Now, section 5. Hopefully, in the past 3 sections, I didn't speak on it for section 4, but essentially also for that one, at the end you see the pupa, attack it, get rid of one of the buffs, whichever one you want. Read. Section 5. You now need to start beating up on the butterfly. Full on. The gimmick is that you have the past, present, and the future in the background. The 3 small pupas, they don't take a lot of damage, but they all represent a different size effect. We got, I believe it goes burn, poise, bleed. Point is, what you need to do, the main mechanic here, is that you need to attack these butterflies in the background, and you need to attack them so that you can lower their buffs they're giving the main butterfly. I mean, essentially, it just gives in the past, in the present, in the future. And essentially what it does is that it just makes the skills that the butterfly uses from whichever form stronger. You want to lower that by attacking them. Whichever one of these guys, the past, the present, or the future, has the highest amount on the pupa. So the one in the background is the form the main butterfly is going to take. All right. In other words, if the past has the highest amount of buff, it goes up to 30. So it has, let's say, 25, and the other 2 have 20 each. Then the main butterfly is going to be in the past form, which means it's going to be providing burn buffs. Or same thing for the present, same thing for the future. What you want to do is you want to keep all the stuff low so that then whatever form it's in, it's fairly weak, easy to manage. I would argue that the burn one, well, really all of them are bad. I would say any of them could be best, but it seems like poise is probably all of them are bad. All of them are bad. You prefer to at least use one attack per turn to lower it, though you can also argue that maybe it's better to use more attacks on the pupas so that then the main butterfly is always weak, and then it's easier to clash, easier to take, not as bad to take damage from, easier to do damage to. However you want to manage it. I kind of trying to manage it, attacking that main part as much as possible, allowing my characters to ramp up, and then eventually just ignoring the pupas once we got to the part where I was strong enough to clash even its strongest moves without too much issue, and then just delivering as much damage as possible. You want to try work down to those stagger thresholds, as that's the part where you'll be able to do the most damage. The main butterfly is not weak by any means. 25,000 health. Man, doable. It's just difficult. Those unbreakable coins are going to be rough. Okay, you're going to be looking out for those, especially as the boss gets lower in health. He's going to be doing more unbreakables, which means you're going to be taking more unblockable damage, which is going to suck really bad. Okay, so just rush them down. Once you get through one stagger threshold, you want to start shooting for each stagger. You want to basically walk them down to that following stagger, let them come back, stagger them again. Just keep doing that, and eventually you'll win. Make sure you're healing. This is the fight where the healing goes from being like a heal here and there, make sure you clash. No, just heal all the time. If you can heal, heal. Why? Because this fight is rough. The burn can get egregious. The bleed can get bad. Dear God, those poise attacks can they just will hit you. They just will hit you. That's when it gets not really fun. Okay, so all in all, yeah, just be careful. Try to keep those pupas low. try to keep your debuffs low and heal as much as you can and do as much damage as you can as fast as possible. You don't want the fight to go on too long, as the longer it goes, the worse it gets. That's about it. And then I ended up winning. It was pretty fun, pretty good. Very climactic. Had also inspired Ryoshu do the final blow because, of course. And that's pretty much it for me and Railway 6. This video was longer, but I hope you enjoyed and found it at least decently entertaining. Thanks for watching. Continue to subscribe, continue to drop likes, continue to comment. I'll catch you guys in another more regularly scheduled video. I left a community post up where you guys can vote and determine what the next video topic. If we're continuing to work on the fingers, going to move on over to associations or the centers, whichever group you guys want to cover next. Currently, and yeah, that is all for me. The doc is out. Peace.